In this particular lecture video, we shall be discussing about analog circuits experiments. That is experiment 1, common source JFET amplifier. Okay. Here, the main aim of this particular experiment is to design and set up the common source JFET amplifier and plot its frequency response, and we also find the input and output impedance of this particular circuit. So this circuit shows a common source JFET amplifier. So why we call it as a common source? Because the source will be connected in common between the input and output terminal, or the source will be connected to the ground terminal. Hence we call it as a common source amplifier. So the input impedance of these particular amplifiers or JFET is theoretically it is infinite, but practically it is very high. Hence, we make use of a large resistance at the input, so that no current or very few current or negligible current flows to the gate terminal. So here we are making use of resistance R1 and R2 for biasing this particular MOSFET, so that we get the Q point at the middle of the linear region, so that we get a maximum output swing. So for the to perform this particular experiment, we need the following components. That is, we need a coupling capacitor CC1 and CC2, which is of 0.47 microfarad, and we need source capacitance, which is of 100 microfarad, and source resistance, which is 820 ohms, and drain resistance, which is 1.5 kilo ohms. And we need the resistance R1, which is 82 kilo ohms, and R2 we are connecting decade resistance box. Okay. So we need one signal generator. We need one signal generator. We need a CRO, and we need a DC supply which varies from 0 to 30 volts in order to set this particular VDD. So coming to the design. So DC bias condition or designing the circuit, we consider that VDD is 12 volts, VGS is minus 1 volts, and the source voltage across the source resistance is 20% of VDD, which is 2.4 volts, and we consider the drain source resistance VDS, drain source voltage across the drain and source terminal is 45% of VDD, which is 5.4 volts. And for FET, we choose IDSS, that is maximum saturation current, which is of 8 milliamps, and the peak pinch of voltage of minus 4 volts, or we call this as VGS off. So it is minus 4 volts, and VGS we consider it as minus 1.8 volts. We know the formula for the JFET. So drain current is given as IDSS into 1 minus VGS by 4 whole square. So VGS already we have chosen to be 1.8 volts. So substitute that 1.8 here, and IDSS we have already chosen IDSS to be 1.8 milliamps. So substituting that, we get a drain current which is equal to 2.4 milliamps. So if you apply the KVL to the outer loop, so if you apply the KVL to the outer loop, if you see here in this particular circuit, if you apply KVL to this particular loop, total voltage is VDD. So this voltage is split across ID and RD, and ID into RS plus VDS. So these three, it is split across these three terminals. So we can write this as VDD is equal to ID into RD plus ID into RS plus VDS. So in this, we take RD plus RS common, so we get VDD minus VDS divided by ID. So we know what is the value of VDD. It is 12 volts. VDS we have already taken 5.44 volts, and ID we have calculated it as 2.4 milliohms. So here it is not 5; it is actually 5.4. So if you substitute that, you get ID plus RS, which is equal to 2.1 kilo ohms. So from this, we can choose the value of RD to be 1.5 kilo ohms, and RS to be 820 ohms. So to design the voltage divider circuit resistors, that is R1 and R2, using voltage divider rule, we get VDD into R2 divided by R1 plus R2, which is equal to VGS plus VRS, that is VGS plus voltage across the source resistance. So from this we get R2 divided by R1 plus R2 will be equal to VGS. This VRS can be written in terms of Ohm's law, I into R. So we write it as ID into RS, and divided by VDD. So we know what is VGS, we know what is ID, and we know what is RS. So if you substitute, and we know what is VDD, if you substitute all these things, we get R2 divided by R1 plus R2, which is equal to 0.15. So from this, if you solve this particular equation, you get R2 to be 0.176 times of R1. Since we need a large value of R1 in order to ensure zero gate current, because as I told, theoretically the input impedance or input resistance is infinity, but practically it is too large. Because of that, we have to choose the value of R1 which is very high. So we choose the value of R1 which is 82 kilo ohms, and we choose R2 to be 10 to 15 ohms, or we use a decade resistance box for setting the value of resistance R2. And coming to the design of bypass capacitor CS, so we know we'll take the reactance of the capacitance which is equal to Rs divided by 10. So which is the reactance of capacitance is 10 times less than the source resistance. Therefore, we get XCS which is equal to less than 100 ohms. So we know the formula F is equal to 1 by 2 pi R into C. So in that we know what is F. So we have taken the value of F to be 150 hertz. So if you substitute all these values, we get the source capacitance which is equal to 100 microfarad. So we assume this coupling capacitor to be 0.47 microfarad. So this is all about the design of the common source amplifier. Coming to the procedure, first we have to check all the components and equipments whether it is working in working condition. Later on, we have to connect the circuit as shown in the diagram, and keeping the voltage knob to the minimum position. We have to keep the voltage knob to the minimum position, and we have to make the current to the maximum position. And then we have to disconnect the AC, and we have to apply the DC voltage in order to set the Q point. Once it is set, then we will be applying the input voltage which is zero point 0.2 volts peak to peak. That is input voltage VA at zero point 0.2 volts peak to peak at mid-band frequency range, that is 10 kilohertz, or you can also choose 1 kilohertz, and you can set the input voltage of zero point 0.2 volts. And then we have to note down what input voltage we have applied, and later on we have to vary the frequency should be varied from 10 hertz to 1 megahertz. You can vary from 10 hertz to 1 megahertz, or you can vary from 1 kilohertz to 1 megahertz, and note down the different value of the output, and using the formula, that is gain formula, which is shown here, gain which is output by input. So we get output by input on gain. So if you want to calculate in terms of decibel, we use 20 log output by input. So once you calculate all these things, you just plot a graph. From the graph, we'll be getting lower cutoff frequency, higher cutoff frequency, and the bandwidth can be found. To find the lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency, we have to take from the bandwidth, we have to take from the 3 decibel point, less than 3 decibel point. This is minus 3 dB point, or we call it as half power point. From this particular region we get lower cutoff frequency, and here we get higher cutoff frequency, and this gives you the bandwidth. This gives you the bandwidth. So to find the input impedance, what we have to do is we have to connect a decade resistance box at the input terminal, and we have to keep the resistance in the minimum position. We have to, and we have to apply the input signal at mid-band frequency of 10 kilohertz or 1 kilohertz, and then we have to adjust the amplitude, input amplitude, so that we get a distortionless output. Once we set the input signal, then we have to vary the DRB until the output voltage becomes half of your input. Once we get the output which is half of the input, then the corresponding resistance indicates the input impedance of the circuit. Similarly, to find the output impedance, we are connecting a DRB at the output terminal. We are keeping the resistance at its maximum value, and we'll find out the output. And then we'll be reducing the DRB until the output becomes half of the previous value, and when it becomes half, the corresponding reading in the DRB indicates the output impedance. So Here input can be 100 millivolts, or you can also consider zero point 0.2 volts, zero point 0.2 volts or 0.5 volts. It's left to you. So you can apply in terms of millivolts, and varying the frequency, we will be noting down what voltage we are getting, corresponding voltage. So output versus input, if we calculate, we will get the gain. So in order to calculate the gain in decibels, we use the formula 20 log V naught by Vs. So this gives you the gain in decibels. Once we get the gain in decibels, we are plotting this uh, we are plotting this versus frequency versus gain, and we get the corresponding lower cutoff frequency, higher cutoff frequency, all these points. And when we make the AC voltage 0 and we calculate DC, we get quiescent voltage and quiescent current. We have to note down that. And the voltage gain at the mid-band frequency, that is the frequency where you'll get a constant gain. So that gain you have to calculate. So this indicates the midband gain. You have to note down that we have to calculate the bandwidth, and we have to find out the input and output impedance, and the figure of merit. So these are the results what you have to note down for this particular experiment. Thank you.
Common source JFET amplifier. This is the circuit of your common source JFET amplifier. Here we are going to take the FET, which is your BFW11. So it is going to have the terminals source, drain and gate. So now we are going to see here, you are going to have your resistance, source resistance RS to be present here, and your bypass capacitance CS to be present across the source terminal. And to the drain terminal, we are going to have a capacitance, a resistance 6.8 kilo ohms, and the output we are going to take it across the capacitance to filter the DC components. So here we are going to connect your CRO, and at the input side, since your gate is going to be a high input impedance, the gate resistance is going to be around 1 mega ohms, to which we are going to connect the function generator. Through function generator, we are going to give the input signal. So input signal is going to be a sine waveform. So this is a sine waveform we are going to give from the function generator, which we are going to take it as 1 volt here. So when I am going to give here 1 volt, your signal is going to be amplified, and we are going to get it at the CRO here. So the voltage supply what we are going to give is going to be here 12 volts. So now this is your BFW1. So it is going to have 4 terminals. So this projection is going to be there. From this projection you have to take, this is your source terminal, this is your drain terminal, and this is going to be a gate terminal. And this is your substrate terminal, you are not going to use it. So fold that substrate terminal, and remaining 3 terminals you take. That is, remember it as SDG. So source, drain, gate. So then now we are going to connect it. So when I am connecting it, I will have it like this. So here this is going to be now source, this is going to be the gate. So if I am going to connect it, these two I can connect here like this. So like this we can connect it. So this is going to be the source terminal, this is going to be the drain terminal, and this is going to be the gate terminal there. So now I have connected it like this. This is your source, this is your drain, this is your gate. So now from the connection, if I am going to see, from the source terminal I am going to have 6.8 kilo ohm resistor. So here I am going to take from the source terminal 6.8 kilo ohm resistor I am going to take, and I am going to connect it to the ground terminal there. And next is your capacitance. So I bypass capacitance. So here we are going to have that bypass capacitance to be present. That capacitance we are going to connect it across the ground terminal. So here in this case, from the source terminal, that is your bypass capacitance, to your ground terminal. Next is your drain. So drain terminal we are going to have another 6.8k resistor. To the other end of the 6.8k resistor we are going to connect a plus VCC, which is going to be of 12.4 volts there. And next is gate. So in the gate terminal, first what we are going to do is, we are going to have here, this is your gate terminal. So in a gate terminal you are going to connect 1 mega ohm, the other end is going to be connected to ground. So now function generator. So in a function generator we are going to take the input, and this input we are going to connect it to the gate terminal as the input. So after giving the input, what we are going to do is we want to set first the input. First step is to set the input. So CRO probe, we are going to take the CRO positive, we are going to connect it to your gate terminal to see the output, that is to see your input signal, to measure your input signal, and negative I am going to ground it. So now this power supply ground has been done. So now all the grounds are done. So if we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grounds should be there. So here in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grounds are there. That means the circuit is complete and it is properly connected. Now we will measure the voltages. So here in this case first input voltage. Input voltages we are going to measure it. So we will keep my input voltage to be So for calculation it will be easy. So for that I am keeping the input voltage to be 1 volt. So measure and take the readings here. This is your tabular column. So in your tabular column first we should measure your input voltage. So input voltage I am going to take it as 1 volt. Now I am going to vary the frequency. So here now after taking the input voltage, what we are going to do is we should take the output. The output is across the capacitance, we are connecting it here. Now vary the frequencies. So first this is going to be your, we'll take it as 121 Hertz. So your input is 121 Hertz. So if you are unable to measure, you can have it in your XY position there. So we can see that your frequency for 121 Hertz. So this is your 121 Hertz. Your V0 is going to be around, so here in this case 1 block, so 1.2. So if I move it, I can see that my peak touches at, each division is 0.2. So one box is 1. Here I am going to have the first division it touches, so it is your 1.2 into 1 volt. So this is the channel I have connected, so 1.2 into 1 volt is going to be your V0. Output voltage. Now vary the frequency. So I will have it as here 200 Hertz. So next I will go for the next range. So next range I will have it as 550 Hertz. So 550 Hertz also my reading is going to be same 1.2 volts there. So next I will go for 1K. So 1K also, so 1000 Hertz also, my reading is going to be 1.2. So next I will go for 1.9, so that also is going to be same 1.2 volts there. So if I increase also, here in this case if I increase my frequency even for 10.8, 11.8,